All right, now that we've got word wrap in place and everything's pretty much done, now we're just going to add a little bonus video in here. Some of you have been playing the Hyperion Project and you have found that you can, instead of typing move east, you can just type east or north or south. So we're going to go ahead and show you how you can set that up as a real quick bonus.
Okay, let's jump over to Command Processor and let's see what we need to do. What this will have to do is check whatever input was given, check the command, and if that command is a valid direction, just go ahead and move in that direction.
Okay.
If it's not a valid direction, then see if we can process it as a command.
Okay.
So let's put our switch statement inside of an if-else block. We'll begin this by doing our check to see if the given command is a valid direction. So we'll say that if direction dot is valid direction, if you remember that was the method that we added onto the direction struct.
Which right now, if I recall, always returns true, I think?
Right, so we'll have to address that as soon as we get this in place.
Right.
So if is valid direction, and what string are we comparing? Well, we're comparing the command. So if this command that we'd gotten from extracting the command from the line, that command is a valid direction, then we want to move in some direction. Otherwise, if it wasn't a valid direction, we need to attempt to process it as a command. So it'll be added into the switch block. So I've started my curly brace for the else. I'm going to drop down to the end, so this ends the switch. I'm going to hit enter, and then a closing curly brace. And because I started bracing this in, the editor went ahead and dropped this in and did the indenting for me.
Nice.
So there we've got our if-else. So if it was a valid direction, what do we need to do? Well, the same thing as move. We need to have player dot move. Only instead of moving in the arguments, we need to move for the command. Because if east was typed in, then we need to move east.
Right, we need to treat it as an argument for the command move.
Exactly. All right. So this is going to do the check. Let me build and make sure that there's no errors introduced, and we're all good on the build.
Okay.
Now, like Jason was saying, we need to check, or we need to look at the is valid direction, because we only have the skeleton of the method in place. We've defined it, but it's just acting as always returning true.
Right.
This will present a problem because if we attempted to use this and we said pick up item, it's going to try to move in the direction pick up.
Right, because it's going to say it's a valid direction.
So let's go over to, let's see. Actually, let's just take this out, take the return out, and we'll put in a switch for direction. So start a new switch block, do a switch based on what direction we're passing. So direction, end the block, and we'll have it set up to where, let's begin the cases. Let's set up a case for direction dot north. And if north was typed, then we want to return true, because north is a valid direction. And the same thing for the others. Case direction dot south, return true. Case direction dot east, return true. And finally, a case for direction dot west, which also returns true.
Cool.
Now, if none of these cases were hit, then we want to make sure we return false,
right,
indicating that the direction type was not north, was not south, was not east, and was not west, and is therefore not a valid direction. So let's build this, and everything still builds. So let's try it out. I'll execute, begin the game, and let's see, let's move east by just typing east.
Oh, very nice.
West. Very good.
Now a direction we can't go, south.
Let me make sure this hasn't interfered with any other commands, like look. Actually, where am I? Red room. Very good. And, of course, the old ones, move east. The old move command still works. But now we can use south, we can use west, we can use east. So it makes navigating around the level a lot faster.
Now let's check one last piece of code, and that is, let's try, in this case here, let's go east, and we can't go east.
It's an invalid direction
Very
because we've got the direction handling inside of the player move or
right.
player.move.
Very cool. So yeah, that's everything. Again, just a really quick bonus video showing you guys how you can implement simple directions and leave out the command move altogether. So that is going to wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.